Hello and welcome back to Raging Leap. We have 2 extra stories left. And we're gonna start with Boy and Girl versus In From Hell. Which is apparently a comedy, no horror elements at all. Of course, in the In From Hell. The stories seem to have gotten like progressively longer with each one. Like I think this was like 45 minutes, this was an hour, and this was an hour and a half, so probably 2 hour long this one. A god and priest are forced to seek an inn for the night, but what they find is an annoying journey through an unfair hell that even a certain swindler couldn't help complain about. I'm not entirely sure what it's, or like who it's about. I mean, a god with boy and girl kind of seems to very strongly hint towards, God, why have I forgotten her name? You know, the girl. The one. Haru. Was it Haru? I think it was, yes. But priest? I mean, we haven't gotten an extra story about Mochi yet, but I don't know about priest. But yeah, let's go. Okay, it is Mochi. Okay. Hey, why don't we stop this, Mochi? I'm tired and you're tired. Honestly, I don't mind sleeping outside. I don't wanna. You wanna keep looking for something else? The sun had already set and the air was filled with the orchestra of bugs and frogs. The 2 of them were in the mountains. Though the scenery was similar, they were quite far, apparently, from Fujiyoshi and were more or less stranded. Their circumstances were simple. It was summer break and they had no school. In Yasumizu, summer break was basically doing your homework, tending the fields, pulling weeds, etc. In the past they used to catch bugs and so on, but they weren't kids anymore, so summer break was pretty boring. Yasunaga had also seized this chance to visit colleges in Tokyo. In times like these, it was normal for the residents of Yasumizu to give a little money for travel expenses. That said, the lion's share of that money was mostly provided by the adults. Kanzo's hunting income and mountain festival tributes often covered the majority of the funds. Yasumizu had barely any concept of personal funds to begin with, but recent events had changed things. Before, the majority of people's money had been re-levied by the Higuchi under the pretext of paying for the eatery's expenses and school funds. But now that they had skipped town, it had all gone up in the air. At the present, the Nosato were dealing with the few assets the Miguruma and Higuchi had left behind, while compensating for the losses of the deposits the 2 families had taken off with. As part of that, the other day they'd returned all the traceable assets that they'd levied back to Yasumizu. As a result, some of the cash they'd gathered had fallen into the lap of Yasumizu's representative, Tai. This money was distributed to everyone, but the majority of it was immediately saved up for the construction of the shrine to the recently resurrected god. That said, there was no mistaking that it was a rare case of discretionary income for Yasumizu. That blessing was also distributed to the children as allowance. Yasunaga had taken his whole sum and used it to buy a reference book and to cover travel expenses for college visits. All 500 yen of it. Furthermore, his brother Yoshitsugu had used his money to go to the city and buy a new sharp knife for his mother to use in the dining hall. However, Chikamochi had no intention of going on to college, while Haru was a 10th grader, so it was still too early for her to consider it. After seeing Yasunaga off as he'd departed on his college visits, the 2 took a bus to the nearby city of Kachihara. All of Yasumizu looked at it as a date. Even without Yasunaga, the 2 of them had a surprising amount of fun hanging out in the city. Normally they had a good balance, the free-spirited Chikamochi in the lead, the reserved Haru falling behind, and Yasunaga between them. But now Chikamochi and Haru were side by side, both metaphorically and physically. Haru had learned to talk about what she wanted to do, rather than just reject things she didn't. While Chikamochi had learned to ask for Haru's opinions and preferences before he did anything. With the incident 2 months prior serving as the trigger, the two of them were learning the social skills and spirit of cooperation most people already possessed. Though they did keep their rather bizarre sense of fashion. Thus, their date had gone almost perfectly. Their mistakes had happened all at once near the end. They'd gotten on the wrong bus. They were so tired from their date that they fell asleep. When they realized what had happened, they panicked and ended up getting off at some bus station at some mountain they'd never heard of. They didn't have cell phones or a map, and it seemed the bus they'd been on was the last one for the day. And so the lost boy and girl walked down the road as the sun fully set, bringing us to now. Fortunately, they hadn't gotten completely lost and had managed to arrive at this place. And in the middle of the mountains. At first glance, it looked like a large, seasoned Japanese-styled inn you'd see deep in the mountains on a commercial. But on closer inspection, it only looked that way on the surface, and the Japanese-style parts were just papier-mâché put together with duct tape and vinyl bags. The majority of it was constructed with cheap, prefab materials, and it seemed one part of it had simply been left broken with no attempt made to fix it. On the other hand, it was well lit. But seeing the disheartening name Bed End on the inn's lit-up signboard provoked nothing but anxiety from Haru. How much money do we even have left? They might not even let us in. Maybe they'll let us sleep in the horse stables or something. This isn't a historical drama. Well, I've got 2,000 yen left, so I think we can manage. I don't even have 1,000. She'd bought some accessories for herself and gloves as a present for her grandfather, so she barely had any allowance left. Chikamochi had only bought some fast food with Haru and was satisfied with just rolling up all nearby flyers without even reading them. In the first place, there were very few places that would let the two of them stay for under 3,000 yen. Neither of them were under that impression. Then, what do you want to do? Though their grasp of common sense had matured, Chikamochi still did whatever he wanted without reservation, while Haru was introverted, so they found themselves at odds in times like these. However, Haru was learning how to compromise without simply giving up on her opinion. Fine, we'll just go in and ask if we can use their phone, then call Kaori to ask what we should do. Now there's a plan. You're sounding like Yasun there, Haru. Don't be an idiot. I could never reach Ni's level. Don't get jealous over something like that. Wanna hold hands? Yeah. And so the two of them entered the suspicious inn named Bed End. Yeah, well, at this point I would turn around and walk outside. Yep. Oh wow, your scream was so loud that you scared them more than they scared you. Yep. You're a zombie, aren't you, old lady? I'm not going to scream, no. Calm down, Haru. You're a top paranormal phenomenon yourself, you know. I can almost see your undies. I can't. I know I've been feeling more presences recently, but this is too flagrant. Flagrant. What are you, man? You still got some lingering regrets in this world? You're staying in this world for a stupid reason like that? And don't change your inn's name like that. The pervert. We're leaving, Mochi. Like how are we gonna stay in a place like this? No! Mochi! Hold that and I'll pull this and ah! Oh man, this door is tough. Wait, let me just check if I can... Like the music is way too loud compared to the audio. Can I? Oh, there's sound. Let me turn. Can I? Okay, thank you. Oh god. Is there a category for others? God, that's like probably the... Okay, it is even set to low, but somehow the game just ignores that. Alright. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. These things are gonna eat us. Mochi, if we're gonna die, please hold me.
いいよ、これはちょっと特別きついのが集まっちゃっただけで。のこちゃん、
おそばに
お若いお二人ご案内。
承知で。
Haru, you're so warm and soft.
あらまあ、若いっていいわね。
くっくっく。
Cut it out already, you pack of idiots. It was a threat full of divine might. The inn's lobby, jam-packed with ghosts and apparitions, fell silent. All of them, Chikamochi included, were sitting on their knees. Hey, proprietors, are you from around these mountains? You sure have guts to act so foolish before a god?
ああ、まさか神様が泊まりに来られるとは。お風呂炊かなくちゃ。
くっくっく。映画化決定。
How come you're familiar with such modern expressions?
この子はつい最近こっちに来ましたので。
Hmm? This isn't one of those ancient ghost houses brimming with history and traditions.
いえいえ、私がこの山で非業の死を遂げた5年ほど前に始まったものです。
So, this place is recent. What is up with your appearance? Were you killed by beasts? A car accident?
いえ、会社での使い込みがバレてこうなったら自殺のふりして踏み倒そうと山に入ったら散歩で崖から落ちまして。
Okay, that one was actually funny. I would say you got what you deserved.
山の雑霊やら高2やらが寄ってたかって指差し笑いバカにする中息絶えまして、その無念から怨霊に。
Can I laugh, God? Refrain for now. So, does that mean despite what happened, you opened this inn for those wandering into the mountains to keep them from committing suicide?
いえ、この宿に仕組まれた仕掛けの数々で
Yep, of
私より
course.
も滑稽な死に方をさせスカッとしようと。
That is horrible. You are nothing more than your ordinary vengeful ghost who causes trouble for others.
違います。我々はたたってはおりますが死してなおエンターテイナーであろうと目覚めた者たちなのです。というわけで山に死を求めた方、欲望を持ち込んだ方、その他ただ通りすがっただけの方も対象とし、取って食うなど生ぬるい、せいぜい壮絶な笑い死にを遂げていただこうというのが当旅館のコンセプトでございます。
Okay. God, punch.
成仏する、成仏する。
くっくっく。下克上の気配。
Relax. It was not fatal. However, from what I can tell, she is fairly powerful and popular, so if she puts some effort into it, she could become a god. Why not cease this inhuman con game and become my disciple? We can restore the divinity of the mountain together.
嫌です。支配とか興味ないですし。
Then I suppose I have no choice. Face a full-powered god Yakuza kick and meet your maker.
おーっと、良いのですか？私が成仏すると、ここは単なる超絶不浄な心霊スポットに戻りますよ。神様はお宿をお求めだったのでは？
So, wait, you mean we're not hallucinating? This is really happening? There are such foolish types amongst them, but this one really does have the power to temporarily make all of this real, in the shape of a lost inn.
我々のおもてなしをお受けになるなら、快適な一夜をお約束いたしますよ。
So, what you are saying is that if we overlook your crimes here, you'll let us spend the night here safely?
タコにも、いや、イカにも。
I did enjoy the breeze at Atami. God, not now. We do not have much money. Are you sure it is alright with you?
それはもう。
And you, Mochi? Yeah, let's spend the night in a ghost inn. Well, I figured as much. Haru does not like it, but she thinks it is better than nothing. Very well then. Swear you will not harm us.
それはもう。
くっくっく。 3階のお部屋にご案内いたします。
I do not have much trust in them.
こちら、お部屋と見せかけて落とし穴でございます。
How? Ah! Mochi, don't let go of me. Physical strength isn't my forte. By the way, is it just me or is something down there?
腰までの深さのうんこが。
You suck. Didn't you say you wouldn't harm us?
大丈夫ですよ神様。いつもなら無数のうんこ型の鉄のトゲトゲの串刺しになるところですよ。
I wouldn't want that either, but quit it with the traps. Haru, give me your hand.
かわされた。
This isn't what you promised.
だから危害は加えませんってば。これはそう、いわゆるサービスです。
A freebie?
はい、アトラクションと言ってもいい。この何もない山奥の宿で提供できるのはスリルとサスペンスくらいですから。
No, thank you.
おっと、そいつは困ります。何せこっちも娯楽に飢えた一段ゆえ、この程度の集大は晒していただかねば。
Shameful scenes? You really are a vengeful ghost. I'm gonna beat you up.
いいのかな。建物が消滅したらあなたは声だめ行き。
Damn you. Give it up, Haru. This old lady's tricked us.
おばちゃん呼ばわりは許さないけど、そういうことよ。
おかみ、あんまり調子に乗ると、明日何が何でも成仏させられるんじゃ。
She realized.
うん。とりあえず次はちゃんとした部屋に案内して差し上げて。
はい。こちらです。くっくっく。
No, no more of that. Yay, a room. Is it a normal room? I don't know, but there don't seem to be any traps.
どうぞごゆっくり。
Oh, wait, we'd like to make a phone call.
あるにはありますが、鉄塔の下に埋まってる子に中継お願いするんで、やや地獄的な内容に変換されますが。
We're not using that. Ami County's gonna faint. Hey, God, can you do something? What do you think a god is? Oh, it's no big deal. I just thought it would be nice if you could use your power to let everyone know that Haru and I are okay. I mean, you can, right? Otherwise, Haru's grandpa is gonna be foaming at the mouth and swinging that rifle around. True, that would bring all sorts of trouble. I suppose I can manage that much.
よろしいですか。ではごゆっくり。
Did it work? Yes, no one will be particularly worried. Alright, let's lay waste to this room. Normally, I tell you to stop, but in this case, I don't think I'll be calm until we turn this place inside out. Or is it Haru again? You think there are traps? I think it's Haru again. Definitely. There's a possibility they've got something really dangerous that will kill you in one hit. I don't think we've got to worry about that, but it feels like something's here. Like what? Like something more malicious. Like if I open this tea caddy, it'll... Tea time!
ででーん。神様、アウト。
Ah, what is this? Ow, ow!
200年前の遥か南国の勇者によるお尻ツンツンの刑ですわ。ほら、良い具合になってきたでしょ。
Of course I'm not, you idiot. And what did you mean when you said I was out?
いえ、もうすぐこういうのがテレビ放映されて大人気になると電波がね。
If it's to explain something, this old lady just pops up anywhere. And besides, you're hurting me, aren't you? You broke our agreement. Don't think you can just go pulling whatever nonsense you want because you're letting us stay for the night.
神様実はマゾっぽいから喜んでいただけると思いましたのに。
Not even one of them would enjoy getting their butts poked out of the blue by a ghost.
ち。わかりました。じゃあ中ちゃんプラン053で。
了解。
Tea time. Hey, take this talking tea caddy with you.
ごゆっくり。
Yeah, go on. I wonder exactly how many plans they have. Can't you avoid them using your intuition? Can't you just use God to read their minds and find out? I don't want to rely too much on her. This is our problem, and if I go too crazy with that power, her divinity will grow weaker. I see. I think it'd be best if we tried to keep quiet and not touch anything. That sounds good. You know, when I think about it, the outside of this place looks so tacky, but it's actually got some nice rooms on the inside. Yeah, it reminds me of Yasumizu's hall. The rooms in the Nosato head's house are also like this. Oh, right. You were originally a village head. Same with Yasun and Chia, right? I sure was surprised to learn about her. Yeah, she told me a lot when we went on the hot springs trip, and she showed me her scars. When you think of it, about half of Yasumizu carries the blood of village heads. Well, yeah, but we're all Yasumizu brothers and sisters, right? Of course, though maybe Yasun and Chia would have gone away if we weren't. Oh, right. Because the Miguruma and Higuchi went away, right? Yeah. It serves those fools right. You know, Haru said the same thing, but don't you think you've been showing up too much? Oh, that's Chikamoshi. You know, Haru said the same thing, but don't you think you've been showing up too much today, God? What, you got some new scheme in your mind? How rude. I am no longer planning on doing anything to all of you. The fact you have grown quite accustomed to serving as my mirror is part of it, but it is not as though I manifest purely out of my own will. Just as Haru said, I appear when she clings to me. When she gets a little stronger, I should stop manifesting. I see. So you won't show up if Haru becomes a strong adult. Right. So hurry and build my shrine. Once it is done, it is you who shall speak my words, Mochi. Sounds like I should take up singing and dancing then. Uh-huh. That would be pleasing indeed. If you danced for me to possess you, then my prestige would grow. And I'll do it. Don't have anything I want to do anyway. I know you seriously believe that, but are you alright with it? Don't you want to go to college or anything? I know your grades are horrible, but I think you could manage with the proper motivation. Well, I would like to have a good time away from home, but the teacher said that it's not a place where you play. Unlike Yasun, I'm not really interested in the why or stuff. I just want things that are interesting or fun, plain and simple. Am I interesting? Yep, you'll never be a bore. I'm probably going to college. Huh? I'm a woman, so I don't have much physical strength, nor do I have money, so I want to study more and get smarter. Then I'll make Yasumizu an even greater place. That's great and all, but what exactly are you going to study? Architecture? Law, like Yasun? He probably won't go for that. So yeah, maybe it would be good for me to try that. And what? What's it called? Money relations? Economics? Financing? Always wanted to smack the village heads in the face with a wad of bills. Oh, that's cool. Well, the situation has changed a little now, though. I'm still interested in economics, however, so I think I'll go for that. What will you do then, Mochi? Wait 4 years in Yasumizu? I don't want to. Me neither. And God says she doesn't want to leave Yasumizu either. So at the very least, I need you, her priest, by my side. Am I gonna have to work? That sounds hard for you. Well, it doesn't sound like you want to do college, though. Isn't there any place where you can do what you like? I don't really know. Life sounds like such a pain. You should not entertain the thought of dying for a reason like that, Mochi. I only thought it for a second. Guess that's more than enough time for you, God. At the very worst, live even if it means ending up like the old wolfman. At least until I die. You're so selfish. Yes, because I promised to live as a villain. Alright. Then it's a promise. And I'd better find a more fun way to live. Yeah, everyone works hard for that purpose. Hey. I'm hungry. Yeah, it figures. So much has happened since lunch that we haven't eaten. Uh-huh. Let's look around and see if we can find some edible mountain plants. You're thinking of climbing around these parts? What would God say to that? Do not cheat on me with another mountain. Yeah, I figured. Right. I swear I won't. Really? Yeah.
お食事の準備ができました。
Hey, at least knock. No, forget that. At least use the door. Wait, is this food? We can have this?
お召し上がりの度胸があれば。
Yeah, that's not what you want to hear when being served food. Should we give it a try? Just a try.
我が力によりカレーに改変されたうんことうんこに改変されたカレーです。どっちを食べたいですか？
Neither. Like we'll ever eat that, you idiot.
髪が30本ほど成仏した。やめてください神様。食べてる途中にうんこに変わってしまいますよ。
So this isn't an illusion either.
はい、私がこの世にいる限りうんこはカレーのままです。
So it should be safe to eat this one, right, Haru? We can't eat either. Sorry, but we're going outside.
どうなさるので？
Mochi and I will pick some wild plants, boil them, and eat them. Let us use your kitchen. And bring us a light. If you say that too is impossible, we will merely spend the night suffering resentfully. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't want to use the water in this place's kitchen. Let's forget it. What? But I'm hungry. I swear on my honor as a living being that I won't eat poop because of that. I see.
も
What?
しよかったら一つお願いしてもいいでしょうか？
Yeah? We're back, Mochi. My, now, this is quite a large hall, isn't it? Seriously, wow. I found a lot of plants that shouldn't be growing in the summer, as well as mushrooms that shouldn't grow around here. It doesn't even seem possible. Well, that is essentially what it is. I would say it is fitting, given the nature of this place. Look, this is spring water we got from the place they pointed us to. And there was rice and miso people left behind as offerings in that graveyard over there. How fortuitous. Wow, should we really use those, Haru? Should be fine. If it's an emergency, and we will essentially be using those offerings for the purpose they were left there for. No, I was just wondering if this isn't just more poop the lady turned into food. I'd rather not think about that.
さすがにそこまではいたしません。この旅館を維持するだけで精一杯ですし。
自分らへのお供えにそんなことしない。くっくっく。
Whatever. I believe you. Get the fire and pot ready. Right here. Take good care of it. I never thought a day would come where I'd sit at a bonfire with spirits. It's romantic, isn't it? I don't know. I've grown used to a lot. Haru and Chikamochi cooked surrounded by countless ghosts. That said, it wasn't anything difficult. They boiled plenty of water, cooked a little bit of rice, edible plants, and mushrooms in it, and finally melted miso, resulting in extremely primitive rice gruel. However, the generally crude ghosts and imps just watched, not interfering. It was like a service for suffering spirits. The proprietress said she would assist them if they would cook for all the lingering souls too. In response to that, a thought crossed Haru's mind. Though they were condescending and hedonistic in the end, these spirits were probably just lonely. They probably wanted to be consoled by having others cook food for their sakes. It's ready.
ありがとうございます。
Do you have bowls?
十分に。
And so Haru and Chikamochi personally distributed rice gruel to the long line of ghosts. One was a pale-faced warrior who'd fled battle. One was a headless soldier. One was a bride who cried blood. One was a fusion of multiple dead. One was a demon with around 30 arms or so. One was a rotting crow tengu. One was a towering yokai with a stern face. One was an eyeless round yokai with a wide grin and tiny legs. One was a chupacabra. One was a mokele mbembe. One was a shoggoth. It was a lineup that made Haru want to question the existence of each and every one of them, but she desperately held back and continued distributing the gruel sincerely and gently. Finally, it ended with the skeleton, meatbag, hostess, and proprietress. There was just enough left for two at the bottom, so Haru and Chikamochi took it for themselves. The moment they sat down on a nearby rock, the presence of the ghosts around them instantly vanished. Did they pass on? No, they linger precisely because they cannot do so easily. But it would seem they have calmed a little and feel at ease. I see, and I guess we can eat and rest for a little. Indeed. Let's eat. It's a little bitter, but it's tasty enough. Yeah, I looked for stuff that was edible, even if you couldn't get much of the bitterness out of them. That's a relief. It feels kind of weird to be eating this when you're hungry, doesn't it? What do you mean by weird? Oh, you know, because humans are animals or something like that. That's kind of strange, but I think I get it. The two of them discussed those wild fantasies as they slowly ate their gruel. I didn't get it.
ご飯が済んだらお風呂ですよね。
Ah, you really scared me. I shouldn't have let my guard down.
お上の好感度が規定値を上回りましたので大浴場がアンロックされました。
We didn't know about a system like that. Now that you mention it, I'm sweaty. Guess it's because I ate something hot.
そうでしょう、親切なお客様。ぜひ当館自慢の露天風呂で汗をお流しを。
Why are you suddenly treating us like honored guests? Weren't we headed towards a calm resolution just now? Knowing them, there's gonna be some other crazy trap at the bath that'll turn this whole thing into a disaster. We're not going.
まあそれは使わないでおきます。こう見えても受けた恩はちゃんとあだ以外で返すスタンスですから。
信じねば汗まみれの不快な夜を過ごすのみ。
Well, they don't seem as malicious as they did at the start. You serious, Mochi? Yep. Let's go. See, no problems. There's a huge problem. The bath was mixed bathing. Either way, I wonder if this used to be a cesspool or something. I was trying not to think about that.
違いますよ。むしろ無人の山奥でそんなにうんこを集める方が大変でしょ。
Oh, when did you get here?
ここは一応もともと温泉旅館だったみたいです。その時の光景をこうして呼び出してるだけですよ。
Why was it torn down?
ぶっちゃけ不景気らしいわ。
The world really does revolve around money, huh? I know, wait, where's your blood, old lady?
まあ入浴中は止めておかないと湯船がかなりホラーになりますんで。
Yeah, but you're being considerate of us, aren't you?
まあなんていうか、こういうのってみんな初めてですからね。ちょっとくらいサービスしてもいいかなと。
Is it just me, or do these people seem like they could become fairly decent people if they wanted?
違いますし、これはただの10日交換ですし、これからも悪霊としてブイブイ言わせていきますし。
You know, you really do look young without all that blood, old lady.
ようやく認めたわね。
Play with me. Huh? Oh, right, I've gotten used to it, so I don't think anything strange of it. But Mochi must look like a girl to strangers. Huh?
待ちなさい。そしたらあなたら女友達同士じゃなくて。
We're a couple. Mochi, that's embarrassing. And with a fierce scream, the vengeful ghost spun like a whirlpool and fled the bath. Isn't this bad? I get the feeling she's going to get really mad and up the harassment by 100% out of jealousy. I don't feel that way at all, though. Well, whatever. Anyway, it's a nice bath. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna fall asleep. I feel dizzy. Should we wash our backs? Oh, Mochi, we're practically adults, you know that? We can't keep things going this way forever. Hmm? Honestly, it's really embarrassing being in the same bath like this. Though you might not care about that. I see. You could be right. Then let's take turns using the washing spot. Look away from me while we're bathing. Huh? Okay. Huh? Why do you start acting like that? I mean, I'm grateful and all, it's just... Though confused by her childhood friend's subtle yet sudden change in attitude, Haru enjoyed her bath in peace. She put her regular clothes back on, feeling slightly disappointed they didn't have yukatas, and met up with Chikamochi outside the bathhouse. They proceeded through the empty hallways and stairwells cautiously, but it didn't seem like there was anything there. Do you think this bath is really going to be peaceful from start to finish? Yeah, though the changing room was really dirty. Oh, I bet that's because they didn't realize you were a boy. That was why they only cleaned the girls' room. The mixed bathing part probably wasn't intended to be a trap. Traps, huh? I wonder if there are still traps around. I didn't get the impression that they do anything else bad to us, though. Maybe you're right. Then what do we do? Go back to our room and sleep? Let's play. Play what? We don't have any cards. What, like a pillow fight or something? No, something more grown-up. What, like gambling over Hanafuda? Either way, we don't have the... When they got back to their room, they found a giant futon with 2 pillows laid side by side there. Wait! Yay! Chikamochi pushed Haru to the ground with a cheerful voice. What? Let's play. You mean pro wrestling? Or a massage? Haru could feel cold sweat rolling down her still flushed skin. Chikamochi was leaning over her, his gaze oddly warm and passionate. Haru had never seen him like this before. All adults do this, don't they? What are you talking about? Like fitness or something? Let's take off our clothes. It's sumo, right? Please say it's sumo. Feels good once you get used to it. You're not actually thinking of doing something that can get a girl pregnant, are you? Yeah, I am. She had nowhere to run. What's gotten into you, Mochi? This isn't like you at all. No matter how you spin it. Huh? I mean, I wanted to do it with you, but since we weren't adults, I held back. But you said we're adults, right? Wait, so it's my fault? No, that can't be. In fact, you're the one who didn't seem like you wanted this kind of thing. I like fun things, and I want to have fun with you. Wait, where do you even pick up on all this? Back when I was living in Kamifujiyoshi, Ichan slept with me the day she came over. So that was it. Damn Tsuchigumo-dono. You shall suffer for taking a bite out of Mochi before me. Oh, hey God, you'd go along with this kind of thing, wouldn't you? Come on, let's play. Listen, Mochi, I would have no reservations about it, but when I am with Haru like I am now, her heart has great influence over mine. Are you embarrassed? Certainly. Honestly, I am beyond all levels of shocked. Besides, there should be a more appropriate location and procedure when it comes to courting a god. It's okay. Ichan said the greater the embarrassment, the better it gets. Tsuchigomo. By the way, Haru might not remember anything, but do you remember doing things with Ichan God? Oh. That was right. Haru and God remembered. 8 years ago, she did indeed have a brush with Rikaku Uematsu when she received her taking in. She'd wandered into the feast of the Yomi Purge and gone crazy. It was basically a countermeasure against God inhabiting her body. Mujina and the Tsuchigumo had met at that time and swore to each other in a secret room that they would fulfill their future schemes and ambitions. The recollections were linked. God and Haru both remembered now. It was that night 8 years ago where Haru, missing her parents, went down the mountain road and returned to Yasumizu. Fearsome dogs prowled around the dense mist like they owned the place, yet Haru had walked right past them without getting attacked. In actuality, the main reason they didn't was because they feared the sound of the water in the canteen Haru was carrying with her. However, the young Haru failed to understand that, and she should have been able to enjoy a leisurely stroll with the presence of mist and beasts around her. She cried as she continued to walk, and what she eventually found was... "Haru, what are you doing here?" Her own mother. Her father-in-law and husband had argued, and her husband was hanged, and so that night she didn't shelter. She took a knife and planned to take revenge on the wolves who had torn her family apart. She doubted everything. Either her husband or her father-in-law could have been a wolf. The woman who never wanted to hate anyone now bore all her hatred towards the wolves. All wolves were bad. She'd kill the wolves and get revenge for her family. That pure, justifiable indignation was known as madness. However, the feast of the Yomi Purge was cruel. It was nothing more than coincidence she'd survived for so long. At that time, the wolves, the old man who cried wolf, Tokushi Kida and Gen, were near Sananaga, and the dogs gathered there. However, she had already suffered numerous wounds from driving the dogs away. Bound by their laws, the people of Yasumizu couldn't leave, nor did they try to. Therefore, she too was doubtlessly fated to be killed by the dogs and suffer the corruption, just like anyone else would be. However, when she saw her daughter calmly wandering through Yasumizu without getting attacked by the dogs, she grew afraid. To her, it may have looked as though her daughter were controlling the dogs surrounding her, commanding them to focus their attack on their own mother. Yes, her own mother. Haruaki Fuzashi was wrong. The cause wasn't the friction and isolation between Haru and her grandfather following the event. It was this very moment. Never did I imagine I would rise again in this manner. I see. How foolishly the descendants of the Okami in this land have behaved. Haru? Foolish woman, begrudge me not. I am a powerless god. I lack the ability to save you, so at the very least, my badges shall put a swift end to your life so you suffer no longer. Perhaps I could make use of your fear of me to interfere with the snake. This mist may clear up when daybreak comes. Farewell. Walk the path to Yomi in peace, knowing your life was not in vain. Mom? God had been successfully resurrected, the mother devoured by dogs right in front of her, serving as her first mirror. To look at it from a more rational perspective, perhaps one could say she developed a separate personality to protect her from her cruel environment. She herself believed herself to be merely acting, and she accepted her mother's death surprisingly calmly. However, there was a peculiarity to it all. While acting, she felt omnipotent, and everything she imagined became reality. In the end, it was apparently the work of a separate intelligence known as God, but that probably couldn't be scientifically proven. The present Haru acknowledged everything, accepted her mother's death, and on top of it was now going along with God. So in general, she had no problem with any of it. Especially in terms of Rikako Uematsu's rampage. Everyone in Yasumizu, man and woman alike, could all be called victims and perpetrators of it. All she could think was that things had been resolved as a result of her leaving Yasumizu. It was all a matter of either forgetting or ignoring it. Otherwise, she would end up like the current Haru. To be blunt, it was a killjoy. Mochi, sit down. What? Just do as I say. Haru and I have some words for you. You're gonna scold me. It is true that back then Tsuchigumo and I, did things together, and it was until just now that I kept that hidden from Haru. Yeah, Those sorts of affairs are not uncommon purely in the world of gods, but when done between humans it is not so simple. Haru does not believe it was good, and now I feel somewhat embarrassed too, so, well, do not say it. Okay, then I won't. Also, I believe I told you that mountain gods are very jealous. I am not fixated on chastity, but do not go discussing your previous woman in front of me. I understand jealousy. I would hate the idea of Haru being taken away by that Hassan guy. Then give it thought. How would you feel if that gentleman and I kept engaging in the sort of activity that you and Tsuchigumo did? I don't want that. Wait, what do you mean kept, Haru? The current me has done nothing. Even in the past, I just... that is all. I know that's... No, I said kissed him, nothing more. But I still don't want that. Indeed, Haru and I are of the same mind on that. It is because of that we said we do not wish for you to speak of that woman. I see. Haru, God, you're right. So long as you understand. And compared to that woman, this body is, well, somewhat lacking. Huh? That's not true. You're way cuter. Cut it out, Mochi. You're making me blush. You're the only one I want to be with now, and I'm sure it'll always stay that way. I'm happy to hear that. So I won't do anything naughty with Haru. I'll sleep away from her and won't make any moves. We can at least sleep together. You don't want to? That's not it. It's just, Oh, figured they'd show up. Wait, did you say you were watching us this whole time? Oh, now that you mention, I have been feeling kinda horny for some reason. That was all you're doing? Knowing you were thinking you could have some fun peeping on us, didn't you? Eat this. Supernatural being mind-reading power. It's ruined. It's all ruined. Listen, old lady. I'm grateful to you, but peeping is out of the question. I already promised to do right by Haru. Mochi.
さっき露天風呂でおかみに遊ぼうとか言ってモーションかけたって聞きました。
もし
ちょっとドキッとしたしね。神様お気をつけなさいな。この子案外公職っぽいわよ。
I shall heed your advice. Oh, now the mood's totally dead, Haru. Yes, completely.
ぶっちゃけおかみが邪魔しなければなし崩し的にニャンニャンしてた模様。くっくっくエロい。しまった
Don't be an idiot. Seriously, you were scary like that, Haru. So I think I should stop too. Whose side are you on, Mochi?
もういい。こんな旅館消し飛んでもいいから全力で二人をもう一度その気にさせるわよ。
ちっきれちっきれ。
You guys are the worst ghosts ever. Haru, now that it's come to this, we have only one choice. Wait, do you mean... Stand over there. Like this? Yep. Ready, set, Balls. Wait, what are you doing? Huh? You saw that movie too. There is no such thing as a spell of destruction in this world.
敵が懐かしいネタでふざけてる間に渾身のエロチックパワーがこの辺に溜まってきただろ
ギリギリ。
If that hits us, we'll be surrounded by ghosts in this abandoned building and suffer the worst humiliation there is. Eat this, pillow throw.
あー気が散った
It's working, Haru. Now that it's come to this, no holding back. Let's do or die.
何をこさくな
あ、面白そう。
What's going on? I want to join in. And thus, Haru and Mochi spent the night having a pillow fight with the ghosts of the mountain. Understood. Leave the rest to me. You up, Haru? You were talking in your sleep. Haru woke up to find herself sleeping on a tatami mat and noticed her head was resting in Shikamochi's lap. She got up and saw nothing but wilderness as far as the eye could see. There was a tatami mat on a grassy plain that she had been sleeping on. Is it sunrise? It's sunset. We slept in way too late. When did we lose consciousness? I don't even remember. We were knocked out right at dawn. I'm glad we're okay. The hostess and the others went home, said they were tired. They also apologized for not watching over you the whole time. How could they act so admirably when they were so senseless? Because they had fun, maybe? They said they'd think over the invitation to join with God. So they are a breed of tsunaris, I believe. What a troublesome lot. What are we going to do if those guys come to Fujiyoshi? They will not be able to engage in that sort of horseplay when bound by the laws of the mountain. But if they are on their best behavior, perhaps we will cook for them again. I like the sound of that. That was fun. Haru hesitated slightly over Chikamochi's words. Kinda, I guess. Then suddenly turned away and muttered that. Anyway, we can't sit around. We need to get back to the bus as soon as we can. Yeah, everyone's got to be worried. I wonder how I'm going to explain yesterday to Uji. Just say we got spirited away for a bit, maybe. Couldn't have put it better myself. The pair laughed and ran off. Meanwhile, in the shadows of the grass.
次に二人が来る時のためにそういうホテルに改装ねどぎたない罠と超エロ術で今度こそジュルリ
御意。
The pair knew nothing of the horrifying plan being formulated at that very moment. End. Okay. That was something. It had a few good jokes in there. Again, still, as I said last time, I think, or the one before that, not my type of humor mostly, but some jokes in there were good. So, yeah. I hope you enjoyed watching, and yeah, we'll be back one more time for the next extra story next time. So until then, bye bye.